Battery-powered presence sensors are becoming increasingly popular, and we're starting to see more of them become available. So is this finally the time for cable presence sensors to be retired to the smart device graveyard? Well, what we're looking at today is the Meross MS605 smart presence sensor, and it's available to buy now. It's a compact device with PIR and millimeter wave detection, a real-time light sensor and matter over thread support, and best of all, it's completely wireless. In this video, I'm looking at everything it has to offer, finding out what it can and can't do, and ultimately seeing how well it performs. Hey everyone, my name's Simon and welcome to Byte of Geek, a channel that's all about home assistant and smart home technology. So a big thank you to Meross for sending me out an early version of their new smart presence sensor to test and review on the channel. As always, they've had no editorial input into this video and you'll get my honest thoughts and opinions about it. So taking a look at this sensor then, and on the box you'll see that it's got a Matter logo, but it also says thread just under the product name, and therefore a Matter over thread border router is required to use this, and I'll touch on this in just a minute. It supports all the major smart home ecosystems, including Apple Home, and it also works with Home Assistant, so I think pretty much everyone should be able to use this. Inside the box, we have the sensor itself, a CR123A battery, a Velcro adhesive pad for mounting, and the Matter pairing code printed on the side of the sensor. The sensor has a built-in stand that you can expand, angle, rotate or collapse depending on where you need to locate it, and I think that's quite a neat solution, as it means you don't end up losing the stand if you decide not to use it. On the top of the sensor is a small button which is used to connect to the sensor via Bluetooth, and the PIR on the front acts as a status indicator by flashing different colours. On the back of the sensor is the battery compartment. The sensor uses just one CR123A battery, so now there's no need to have cables running everywhere, and you can finally have a presence sensor located away from your power sockets. Meross claims up to 3 years of battery life for the sensor, but of course actual battery life will vary depending on your settings and usage. More on that in just a moment. It's also worth noting that the MS605 has an IP67 waterproof rating and operates in temperatures between -20 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius, making it ideal for bathrooms, cold rooms, and according to Meross, even outdoor areas too, which potentially opens up even more uses for this sensor. So to get started with the sensor, well, it's just a case of opening the battery cover, which you'll notice has this green rubber waterproof seal on it, and then popping in the battery. I then needed to add it to the Meross app, and after going through the simple on-screen instructions to guide me on the best place to locate the sensor, I then just had to specify a detection range, and then I was taken through an auto adjustment process which required me to leave the room whilst the sensor calibrated for the environment. All pretty cool stuff, and after that the sensor was ready to go. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a Matter over thread device, and as such you're going to need a thread border router to be able to use it. That is of course until Meross release their own hub later in the year. If you don't want to wait for that or would rather not use another hub, then you could use something from one of the many devices that are part of these smart home ecosystems. If you're using Home Assistant, then you have other options here as well, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. I run mainly Zigbee devices in my smart home, and if the truth be told, I would have loved this to have been compatible with that as well. However, it's given me the opportunity to try out Thread now in my smart home, and who knows, maybe I'll start adding a few more devices as time goes on. As I mentioned earlier, the MS605 includes both a PIR motion sensor and a 24 GHz millimeter wave radar sensor, and this allows it to detect even very subtle movements such as breathing within its field of view, and it's capable of detecting presence at up to 4 meters and 6 meters for motion. Both sensors work in conjunction with each other, but you can change the priority of them according to your needs. Meross recommends using radar with PIR assistance as the best for most uses and reducing false detections. However, you can also set it to PIR with radar assistance, or just radar only, and those settings will benefit battery life or help with any environment issues. The Meross app has plenty of help available to guide you in choosing the right configuration for your needs, but I suspect most people will be perfectly happy with the default setting. In addition to that, you can adjust the absence and presence duration, so effectively how long someone will be in the room or out of the room before the sensor changes its status. These are great if you don't always want the lights turning on, if you're just popping in and out of a room, as well as being perfect for preventing lights suddenly turning off whilst you're sat there in the room. Although whilst I've been using it, even with the default settings, I didn't encounter that. The MS605 also has a real-time light sensor on board. Sadly, there doesn't seem to be a way of turning that off or setting how frequently it reports information, just so you can save a little bit of battery life. But in a way, that does kind of make the 3-year lifespan claim even more impressive. Still, it would have been nice to have had an option in the app to control that. Via the app, you can fine-tune the sensor with up to 3 distance-based zones of detection, with each of them having separate absence and presence duration settings. The sensitivity levels can be set from low to high, or you can set up a custom level as well. And thresholds for triggers and maintaining presence can be adjusted according to your needs. It's also got AI anti-interference and continuous learning for its surroundings to improve the sensor's overall detection. These kinds of measures should help with false triggers with things like fans, robots and other interference in the room. In the Meross app, you can view real-time information showing you the detection in action and how strong that detection is as well. To use this in my smart home, I decided to use an SM Lite dongle flash to be a Thread border router, and I've got that connected to Home Assistant. I had a bit of fun getting this all to work, certainly with this being my first Thread device, but after syncing the Thread credentials in the Home Assistant companion app and then adding the sensor as a Matter device, it then just automatically appeared in Home Assistant. In Home Assistant, the MS605 exposes the occupancy sensor for up to 3 zones, the light sensor and the battery level. Meross also offers another sensor in their product range, the MS600, and that is a wired device that is Matter over Wi-Fi with a longer detection range, effectively increasing the presence by 2 meters and motion detection by 6 meters. The advantage with this sensor, however, is the size and flexibility to put this wherever you need it. That likely sounds less impressive than it is, but with a wired sensor, you might have to make compromises due to the location of your power sockets. With this, you can put them right where you need your automations to run perfectly all the time. It's also worth noting that by using multiple sensors, you can create lots of zones within the same area, beyond the 3 per device, but sadly you can't draw out your zones on a room map. I've been using the MS605 to automate the lighting in my home office, and it's fair to say that it's a room in which I've tried a few different devices over the years to get the best automations set up for the lighting and presence. With the Meross sensor in place, it does feel like I've now got something that is working reliably and has helped in getting things all working how I want to. When I enter the room, I'm detected almost instantly, and by configuring the distance and sensitivity settings in the app, I've also been able to set up more automations to fire when I sit down at the desk. When the room becomes vacant, then it turns the lights off automatically, and I've got that set to 30 seconds. But one thing that caught me out here was ensuring that I either set the absence delay in the Meross app or I did it in Home Assistant, but not both, and so far that's been working perfectly. I'm also using the light sensor in combination with the motion and presence sensors to make sure the lights are only turning on in this room when they need to, which saves me having to change around my automations when the lighter nights start coming in. I've been using the sensor now for over a month, and according to Home Assistant, it's still reporting a perfect 100% battery. Meross estimates that you'll get up to 3 years of battery life, and although I can't verify that claim, based upon my experience so far, it seems to be doing very well given how frequently the room is occupied. For some people, a wired presence sensor may not be a practical option to have installed in every room. Having battery-powered options that work equally as well is something that we've been waiting for, and now we have another option available. This is a great presence sensor in a compact form factor with a clever mounting system, configurable sensitivity, and with matter over thread connectivity, you get something that works across a wide range of smart home ecosystems whilst using a stable mesh network. This is my first matter over thread device in my smart home, and it's performed perfectly, enabling me to set up automations in Home Assistant knowing that they're going to do what I need without the lights suddenly turning off on me. And if the battery life remains as solid as it has been, then this may well be the start of me adding more of these types of sensors in my smart home. If you want to pick up the Meross Smart Presence Sensor, then it's available now for £29.99 or $39.99. I'll leave an affiliate link in the description below, along with an exclusive 10% discount code that Meross provided just for my channel viewers. If you found this video helpful, then I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and why not subscribe to the channel for more smart home content like this. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.